KITV4 News at 6 starts now.
A plan to privatize Kewalo Basin calls for doubling the number of boat slips. It also means an investment of $18 million by the company that currently manages the harbor and its partners. Good evening, I'm Paula Akana. The plan to lease out the harbor has been in the works for some time now. Today, the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, which will gain title to lands adjacent to Kewalo Basin, asked the state to put the brakes on the deal. KITV4's Catherine Cruz has the story.
For the last 3.5 years, a California company called Almar has managed operations at Kewalo. It now has a plan to make some $18 million in improvements under a proposed long-term lease for the harbor.
I think we've come up with a really good plan considering the different users that we have. It's hard to make that many different people happy, but I think this particular plan does that.
The plan would double the number of slips from 100 to over 200, add a maintenance dock, and improve restroom facilities. Under the plan, HCDA would get a percentage of the gross profit under a 50-year lease. But the Office of Hawaiian Affairs is asking for a delay of the project. As part of a settlement of a ceded land lawsuit, OHA will become the new landowner of adjacent properties and part of the harbor. It does not have official title to the lands until July 1st, but already is expressing concern over work on 2 of the piers.
There's the perception that we're losing control over what our master planning abilities are, and what we can use this property for.
It probably wouldn't work to hold off on the improvements to Fisherman's Wharf loading dock. It would cause disruption to our existing tenants.
This deal doesn't include this deck here on the Eva side of the basin because it's on submerged lands. So that means the state will have to do some renovation work of its own.
HCDA staff says the lease will not include a fuel dock as earlier planned. Details of the lease agreement will be worked out over the summer.
The deal is worth $45 million in gross estimate based on very conservative estimates. This kind of return will allow us to do other things.
And while there was some initial concern about the hike in slip fees, no one raised the issue today. There are some other fears about construction silt and the impact of development on area parking. Back to you, Paula.
All right, thanks, Catherine.